Bricks and mortar investment has been the strongest and long-term investment in the UK since a bajillion years ago, or actually Roman times in 23 BC, and they've doubled on average every 10 years since the Domesday Book in 1086. So why should you invest in property? That's the big question that I want to be covering here, and specifically I want to deep dive in the 5 areas of property investment, saving the best till last and make sure to stay to the end of why you should be investing in property right now. For those that don't know me, my name's Jamie York. I've been investing in property for the better part of a decade now, and I've learned a lot along the way, bought and sold, traded hundreds of deals. I want to show you the 5 biggest reasons I'm still doing it today and why you can too. If you're interested in finding out more about property investment, do me a favor, smash the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you're seeing more and more property investment videos coming up. And of course, if you find value in this video and you think it will help more people, it helps me a huge amount if you just tap that like button to help the YouTube algorithm and push it out to more people like you. So with that said and done, let's jump in. Okay, number one biggest reason I like is cash flow, and let's get this up the board now. Cash flow is one of the biggest reasons I love property investment, in that it can be something that pays you day in, day out, day in, day out. One of my favorite books, and if you haven't read this right now, you should definitely jump into it, is The Richest Man in Babylon. And I'm going to butcher this massively, but he said, when you become wealthy, your gold produces silver and your silver produces bronze and so on. And then you live off what the bronze provides you. And that's what property investment is for me. If I go out there and I get my hustle on and I go out and I earn money, which apparently I get paid in dollars in the UK, so natural to draw it, isn't it? And then what happens is you put that into one of my famous drawings of a house, obviously. One of the best ones, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. And then what happens is you rent that out to Trevor and his family. I've never had a tenant called Trevor. And Trevor, in return, is going to pay you some more dollars, which we get paid here in the UK, which guess what? Then goes back into property, and around it goes, entering into this cash flow situation, which is paying me every single month. And so I love the fact that I am making money whilst I'm sleeping. And that is the power of cash flow being in your investment and your life. Jumping on to number 2, which is appreciation. Appreciation is the biggest part, and I'm going to link this into number 3, of wealth building. So a lot of your stability in property comes from cash flow, but a lot of your growth in wealth comes from appreciation. Now, as I said, since the Domesday Book was created, and the measuring, in case you don't know, the Domesday Book, it measures the wealth of a country, and it also dictates what the property price is, and you can work out the statistics from them. So since it was created, property prices have on average doubled every 10 years, okay? That's not every 10 years it's doubled, but on average it has. Will that slow down over time? Yes, I doubt in a few thousand years we're going to be paying billions for an average property, which is what would happen if it doubled every 10 years, but it still grows. So if we look at an example of when I started investing, which was 10 years ago, give or take, 2011, we were looking at rough average prices at the 155 mark. Let me just double check that. About 155. Okay, fast forward to now. By the way, my investment was not that. It was 36 Burdett Street, which was £21,800, so definitely not your average area. Fast forward to now, the average house prices are, again, let me double check this to make sure, 251,000, give or take. Now, some of you might be looking and going, well, not in my area, that hasn't happened. I'm talking about the UK average, okay? If you look at semi-detached versus detached versus terrace versus areas, it changes over time. But that is a 62% growth, okay? Now, this is where it gets really interesting, but this is where your wealth goes in, because if in the next, say I started at 100K on average, and now it's worth 166K, if I got the same, let's say 60% growth over the next 10 years, it's not another 66K. It's going to be on this 166,000, right? And now I need to try and work that out in my head quickly, which never goes well. So now 16,600 times, times 6 is 60, 636, 96, 97, 98. Let's say 98,000. Let's call it 100,000 to make it easy, but it's around 98. Alex will work it out, I'm sure. Fast forward into that, you're at 266,000. So we've increased by 100. Alex, what are we looking at?
268.92.
Oh. Okay, 268,000 for Alex being a bit of a dick. Put dick in the comments if you think, actually don't put dick in the comments, because if somebody hasn't read this, watch this yet, and they're just reading dick. Put Alex in the comments if you think Alex is a dick for correcting me. Moving swiftly on to number 3, which is wealth and passive income. So wealth and financial freedom comes from the passive income. So I'm going to move this up slightly, and Alex is going to tell me when to stop. Stop! Wealth and passive income kind of is wealth 1 plus 2, cash flow and appreciation. The great thing is that cash flow is largely passive. So what we're going to do is we're going to get management agents involved. So you buy the property, you put in the effort, and you work hard enough to not have to work hard, because the money that's coming in from the property is paying for a manager that gets a commission in return for taking care of your property, so that you can stop working hard for your money and your money starts working hard for you. A huge principle in The Richest Man in Babylon, one of the greatest books ever created. And you've got that wealth increase, which links to the supply and demand curve, okay? So what this is happening is, a lot of people forget to focus on percentages, but if you're putting in a certain amount of funds and you're getting a percentage return on that, and you're constantly reinvesting and you're getting your cash flow through your increased demand, through your rentals coming in, and through the demand curve coming in, is increasing those property prices, you are consistently increasing your wealth and passive income. So again, the huge thing about this is, if you want to quit your job, if you want to leave your business, if you want to sell your business, if you want to travel the world, whether you are in Ghana right now, or the Gambia, or Switzerland, or America, or Chile, you're still making that money, okay? Every time you go to sleep, every month, on a recurring basis, the money is coming in on a passive basis, whilst your net wealth is increasing year on year, and on average, if the past predictions or anything to go by, past facts and allowing that to be a prediction, it's going to double every 10 years on average. Pretty powerful stuff. Number 4 is the constant increase in demand. So to explain basic economics, there's supply and demand. When supply equals demand, you have a constant rate and constant price. So when supply is above the demand, i.e. there's too many objects or widgets available to people that want them, the price will go down. Let's say in my team there's, say, 15 of us in the office at any one point, and there are, I don't know, 15 meals available. The supply equals the demand. Or if you're one of the greedy bastards in my office, there can be 45 meals and the demand is still met. But what happens is, as that supply increases, if there were 150 meals, there's no way, despite my team giving it the best go ever, that they are going to get through those. So the willingness to pay for those at the end goes down. So therefore the price has to drop. And it's the same in housing supply, okay? Now this is where it gets pretty incredible. Now, if you're watching this out of the UK, it will be slightly different. So for example, capital appreciation in America is far lower than it is here. And the reason why is the land mass available, okay? The UK is a relatively tiny island with around 70 million people on it. Whereas America, the size of North America to the UK is like massive. I don't actually know the stats. We'll look it up and maybe put it here. I'd guess around 100 times bigger, okay? And yet the population is only just over between 4 and 5 times the UK's population. So that'd be interesting to know those stats. But in the UK, there's a very limited amount of space. So to give you an idea of this supply versus demand, the 2019 to 2020 data is as follows. The supply of property per year is around 245,000 new homes. Okay, 245,000 new homes are created in the UK every year. So what's the demand? Well, the demand is significantly higher. In 2019, It's 345,000. Let me just double check those figures. Slightly wrong. 344,000. So every single year there are around, there's 99,000 more homes that are needed than are created. Now here's what happens. We are what is known as an aging population. Bear with me because this is really important. We are an aging population, which means that we are still reproducing like rabbits, like we always have. Contraception isn't in the highest point of our minds right now, but we're also living longer. Okay, that creates a lot of problems, by the way, with pensions, healthcare, etc. But the biggest problem on the housing market, or a good thing for us, right, as property investors, is that number is dramatically increasing. The demand as a percentage might stay the same, but as it grows and grows and grows, it's exponential. But this number isn't growing. The supply isn't growing anywhere near. So we're having to build up, knocking down stuff, going up, just to facilitate a need. Okay, this is like food, this is like water. We need a roof over their head. And the facts are that actually the supply just isn't there. And so the prices are going up. So I'm looking from a purely financial perspective, that actually how much longer can demand outstrip supply before prices just again go through like this barrier of exponential growth. Fantastic from an investment perspective and your return. And moving on to 5, and this is the biggest one and the one that I absolutely love right now, broken into 2 parts, is leverage. Leverage, I absolutely love in business, and this is where it really gets powerful. So, and it's mixing it in with the 4 that I've mentioned above. So, first of all, there's debt leverage. Okay, now this is really important. Debt leverage, which is a mortgage most of the time in property. So a mortgage in the UK, typically a buy-to-let mortgage works on a 75% LTV, loan to value, which they call it loan to value, but really it's loan to purchase price. It's hardly ever loan to value, but it's called loan to value. So if you've got your 100,000, not only are you getting your cash flow on it, not only are you building your wealth on it, not only are you getting your passive income from it, not only do you have your capital appreciation over time because of the supply and demand curve, when you're getting that 62% increase that I have over the last decade, it's not even on the amount of money you put in, it's on the value. Now, why is that important? Well, instead of having 100,000 and buying one £100,000 property, instead, and we're going to forget some fees here for simplicity, so we're going to ignore stamp duty and all of that, although that is something. Instead, what you're going to do is you're going to get that and you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 25Ks. How is that different? It's still 100K, Jamie? Well, yes, but because you're going to get, let's change the color on this, because you're now going to get debt on this, 75K on all of them is going to be paid with somebody else's money. The outcome of which is you have not 1, not 2, that is absolutely awful. I'm gonna go back. That didn't work at all, did it? Well, I thought that could be a really smooth transition, and then Alex is just butchering it for me. So this is all Alex's fault if that didn't look good. So 4 properties from the same cash pot, 4 sets of cash flow, 4 sets of wealth accumulation, 4 sets of properties that are working for you so you can stop working hard for your money, and 4 properties worth of capital appreciation. Leverage, loan to value, debt leverage, safe debt leverage, not over leverage, is what is going to help you multiply. And then when this gold, as the richest man in Babylon would say, brings you in more of those dolohas, you are going to build up that pot and be able to cycle back and reinvest again and again and again. Which leads me on to part 2 of this, is the equity leverage. Equity is the equity portion. So out of that £100,000 property, we've already got a mortgage on it of 75k. The rest is called equity. Now it can be your money, but this is where it gets really powerful, okay? Once you've got some experience and built up, you can use OPM. OPM is other people's money. Let me just write that down. Other people's money. So this is where it just gets really powerful, because as a wealth accumulation exercise, it doesn't have to come from your own pocket. You want to be buying, refurbishing, refinancing and pulling out. But if you've shown a track record of this, there's not a lot of investments that are safer and more secure than bricks and mortar property with the rental increases and the capital appreciation from that supply and demand curve. And if you can explain the benefits of this with somebody that's saved up 50 to 100k, and you can get them to invest in you, to either joint venture with you and own the properties 50-50, or over time, even better, to loan you the money so that you can make their money work hard for them whilst they're sleeping, but use their money to work hard for you whilst you're sleeping, you're using other people's gold to produce silver for you. This is the next level that we're going to be looking at right now. So you need to start tying all of this in, getting your cash flow together, your capital appreciation, your wealth and passive income, your constant increasing demand in the UK where supply is nowhere near the level of demand what we need, and of course utilizing leverage in a safe way to scale your portfolio. Those are just 5 of the biggest reasons I love property and why you should be investing in property as soon as is physically possible. But let me know, did I miss any? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Do you think Alex is a dick? Put it in the comments below. Let me know if I've missed any. Of course, these are my top 5. There's loads more reasons. And by the way, if you are watching and you're interested in investing, let me know in the comments that you're interested in investing. I'd love to have a chat with you, work out what the problems are, see if I can add a solution. But most importantly, if you're watching this for the first time and you're interested in finding out more about property investment, do me a favor, smash the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you're one of the first people notified when the next property video comes out. I post 3 times a week. I'm never pitching you anything. I just want to add as much value to you as possible. And hey, if you got value from this and you think it can help people getting into their property investment journey, it helps me tremendously if you just smash that like button. Helps the YouTube algorithm and helps reach more people like you. So hope you got value. Leave a comment now. Let me know your thoughts and I'll see you in the next video.